Hello. How is everybody? It's good to see everybody. Wait, let me do a quick test. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. You guys chat amongst yourselves. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to do a quick test because I couldn't hear anything. All right, you guys, good to see you. So, how are you? So, I'm going to begin very quickly with a response to Original Owl, whose stream I did not watch. All right, but I got the gist of it from friends who told me about it and from the, brief summaries that I saw in Kiwi Farms. Owl, to quote Hot Discord Rejects, you don't have to show up to every fight you're invited to, okay? But if you are going to show up for a fight, at least arm yourself properly. And my understanding is that you made a complete fucking idiot out of yourself on that stream. And yet again, yeah, here we go. Yeah, that's what I'm told. In fact, I've been told that so frequently that I don't know if I can even sit through it, because I heard that it was just a complete and utter embarrassment and that you completely lost your dignity during that stream. All right, some minor points. This is very minor. These are the least important of said points. Now, I understand that I was accused of using filters because I guess that when you look like this and you're in your 30s, and this is not a recent picture, by the way, this is an old picture of her. When you're in your 30s and you look like this, you look like a desiccated crone. You look, imagine looking like this in your 30s, right? And then you look at this and you think that I use filters. There are no filters here, okay? I am operating under incredibly shitty lighting. And no, I know that you find it hard to believe that a woman of 60 could look like me. And keep in mind, I have not had any Botox, fillers, nothing in a very, very, very long time. This is just the way I look. I know you find it hard to believe that this is what I actually look like, but this is what I actually look like. Okay. Again, if I looked like this in my mid to late 30s, I would probably be bitter about it too. I would be a bitter McBitterman. Okay. I just happen to be very lucky. I inherited my skin from my mother, who had beautiful skin. I never go in the sun. I drink an enormous amount of water every day. And I have extremely oily skin, which is a blessing as you get older. It is a natural lubricant for the skin. So I have not had to have major interventions, which is a good thing. All right. Now, I understand that there were a lot of points that she brought up that were completely and totally irrelevant. I thought that I would read you a little bit of a clippy poo from the farms. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, this is from Ask My Dominatrix. Full credit. I still enjoy Al, but last night was painful to watch, especially the last 30 minutes. She seemed to be trying to appease the Bogeda, even going on to say she was hurt by the call Bajic made to her mother. What was that for? Why say it at all? Because all she did was hand Bajic and AK the satisfaction they crave by knowing they have emotionally affected her. Then, preaching about both sides going IRL and calling people's families and how it's all wrong. Are we to believe that the Bogeta are also victims? Maybe we're supposed to feel empathy for AK. Another lie. Al, I have never, ever, ever in my life contacted anyone's family, unlike you. You're a family contactor, aren't you? You're a family meddler, which makes you no better than the people you're criticizing who contacted your family. You understand that you made that rule. You made that rod for your own back. You have no problem getting in touch with people's families in order to get dirt and humiliate them on live stream. That's what you do, bitch. I have never done that. I've never emailed, DM'd, called, or in any way contacted anyone's families. I have been tempted on occasion, but because I'm a fucking adult, I leave people's families out of it. I don't do that. So I'm going to need you to come up with one goddamn example of a single instance where I have contacted someone's family. I'll wait, okay? I'll fucking wait. Because I'm sick of it. I am sick of you lying about me over and over and over and over again, and then throwing up your hands and saying, oh my God, I can't believe she accused me of lying. Because you are a motherfucking liar. You know? I mean, your constant little digs at my appearance and my age and the way you mock my chronic illness because you're a piece of shit and all of these other things that you do, that is just an embarrassing load of crap, all right? I've gotten the same from a bunch of other bitches who got really salty when Negs and I got together and started DMing me, emailing me, making videos about me, saying that I look like a man, saying that I'm unfeminine, saying this, that, and the other thing. Do you think I give a shit about what a bunch of washed up old former junkies and drunks think of me or my appearance? You're wrong. Women who go on stream, you can hear the slurring, living in hoarded out dumps. You think I give a fuck about what those bitches have to say about me? No. But here was the kicker. Here was the kicker. Yeah, see, and the thing is that she can lie. I mean, I didn't listen to her stream. She did blame us for those calls. And Al, you fucking miserable bitch. There have been calls placed all over Connersville, to businesses, to the Connection Cafe, to other business owners. People have scrolled through the Facebook pages of other Connersville residents trying to dig up dirt on us. People were cyber stalking our former employee Liz and coming up with all sorts of conspiracy theories. People reaching out to individuals that we know in real life so that they could do interviews and monetize it so that we would be humiliated. All of you are garbage. Everybody who did that is a piece of shit. Because all of you gave yourselves permission to invade our privacy. Where is Anna's comment? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You thought that was funny. You didn't give a shit about that, did you? You rolled your eyes. No big deal. It's somebody else's kid. What do you give a fuck? Or the stupid comments that you made about a community that is ravaged because of drug abuse, where businesses don't open or they can't stay open because of the rampant drug abuse in the community and needles all over the place. I know of a business, and I'm not going to name the business, a business that moved from one location close to the Connection Cafe, and within a week, they had like 10 cancellations because people were saying, we don't feel safe going into that neighborhood because of the cafe and because of all those drug addicts hanging around. So you can go ahead and be self-righteous and crow about things that you don't know about and don't understand and say, oh, well, what's the big deal that a tiny little town in Indiana, a little rural community, is being ravaged by drugs, and that there are needle exchange programs that are making everything substantially worse, not only for the residents, but also for the business owners. There are empty needles all over the park where kids are supposed to play. There are junkies hanging out in the park where kids can't go play anymore. You know, it's not safe to go anywhere after dark in these isolated areas, these public spaces where people are supposed to be able to congregate because of the drug problem here. But see, you don't give a shit because you don't live here. So it doesn't matter to you. Now, let me show you something. This is the kicker for me. Every single person who called me crazy, paranoid, jealous, or anything else, I want you to read this. And for people who are listening and not watching, the part where Al states she's been in Negs's life longer than Clara really was the absolute limit for me. It may be me nitpicking, but I found that to be absolute cringe beyond words. Just think about that for a second. You're not nitpicking. I think this is Ask My Dominatrix as well. I'm going to say this in plain English so that you understand this, Colby. Plain English. You can write this down. Colby, you were never in Negs's life. You were never friends. You never had a relationship with him. You've never met him. You don't know jack fucking shit. You are not in Negs's life, and you never fucking were. And the sooner that you accept that reality, the better off you will be. You're right. Where is the bullhorn? Where's my goddamn bullhorn? Hang on. Colby, you psycho. You fucking psycho. You were never in Negs's life. You were a random bitch in a live stream. You were nothing. You were one of dozens, if not hundreds of people in a fucking live stream. This parasocial thing that you have, this desperate attempt to get his attention, the way you tweet thinking that he follows you on Twitter, the way that you desperately try to get him to pay attention to you, putting him in all the thumbnails. Why did you put him in the thumbnail in your stream yesterday, Colby? You were talking to me, bitch. You can direct your issues at me. I was the one who had shit to say about you. Me, not Negs. Me. Do you think that you're the first crazy fucking cunt who popped along and is bitter about shit that didn't happen between the two of you years ago? Now, listen, I've been accused of using a single source for my accusation that Owl has a weird fixation on Negs. That's not true. I have had at least half a dozen people come to me. People I've never spoken to before. people who don't speak to each other, people who don't even like each other, who were around back then and told me, and it's not just ATX, okay? It was others as well, women, who told me that when Al would be in Negs's live streams, that she would be desperate to get his attention. Absolutely desperate. And so much so, and her tone was so forward and so desperate that when people found out she was married, they were shocked. Okay? Absolutely ridiculous, Colby. You are a desperate, pathetic loser of a woman. And every single thing that you directed me, making snarky comments about how I have to send Negs out for my eye cream, which I don't use, by the way, or the other shitty things that you have to say about my looks, my age, and everything else, reeks of jealousy. Reeks of jealousy. You think I haven't seen this shit before? I've been through this before, and not just with Negs. I've been through it with previous boyfriends, with husbands and everything else, with women who come sniffing around and they get mad because it's like, why her and not me? You know? Yeah. And I find it hilarious that you are angrier at me than you are at the people who contacted your family. But guess what, Colby? You made that rule. You made that rule. You made the rule that it's okay to reach out to people's families or to communicate communications or whatever that family members have had with you in order to humiliate people. You were off YouTube. Why did you come back? Why? Because Negs got jammed up in a case. And you were delighted that this happened. Delighted. And you saw dollar signs. And you thought, I know what I'll do. I'll come back and I will exploit, because this is all you do. You exploit the bad times of other people. You delight in it. You love it when people share pictures of other people's kids. You love reading DMs that weren't sent to you or listening to voice notes that weren't sent to you. You love it. You love it because you are a miserable, loser, pathetic, unhappy woman. That's why. And I am very embarrassed for you. Very embarrassed. I cringed so hard when you came on Negs's live stream in a bikini. And then you were saying, oh yeah, I just wanted to get him flustered. Flustered. He was repulsed, Colby. He was repulsed. He finds you disgusting. He finds you repulsive, Colby. Repulsive. There is nothing about you that is attractive. I don't give a shit how many of those useless shut-in cat ladies in your audience pay you to tell you how gorgeous you are, that you're the supermodel of the community. You are fucking hideous. Stop it. At least I am fully aware of my limitations. I don't come on stream and talk about how I am an example to live by when it comes to the looks department. All right. Thank you, Wyatt. I really, really appreciate. Oh God. Yeah, I'm going to put that shit on the screen, Colby. And not only have you used your channel, thank you, Wyatt, I appreciate it. Not only have you used your channel as a way to constantly try and get Negs' attention by any means necessary, but you've also allowed your chat to get away with fucking defaming me over and over and over and over again. Over and over again. People in your chat have accused me of committing felonies, Colby. Felonies. I have lost track of the number of defamatory statements that you have made specifically about me, about Negs and others. I'm not going to do anything about it because what the fuck would I get if I dragged your bony ass to court? A couple of mangy roach clips in a shitty tapestry? No, thank you. It's not worth it. But what I will do is I will respond to you. Because you're a fucking liar with a thin skin and a coward who didn't even have the fucking guts to go on stream and call out the people who actually did something to hurt you. And why, by the way, when you've been online for all these years, don't you know better than to not respond to people who are doing shit to you? There is so much stuff that has been done to us online and in real life because of certain people whose names I will not mention because I'm not going to give them the satisfaction, that we haven't discussed. They're matters for law enforcement. But we're not going to come on stream and say, oh, did you know that XYZ happened the other day? Because that feeds the egos of the people who are trying to do you harm and trying to get a reaction out of you. But that's what you did. You bent the fucking knee. You went on stream to whine about people calling your mom, which they shouldn't have done. But by the same token, bitch, you should not be talking to people's families either. Did you ever think about that? And one way or another, I am going to get it through your fucking thick skull that your behavior is completely out of line. And I don't give a shit about your audience full of A-logs. Eventually, people are going to open their eyes and they're going to see what kind of a piece of shit you are, Colby. But I will tell you this. Yes. Yeah. Pathetic. Whatever happened to standing on business, Colby? I guess that when it comes to dealing with people who aren't schizophrenic or going through a mental health crisis, your spine collapses. You can't do it because you're a coward. Pathetic. But I will give you this little warning, and I've warned you about this 1,000 times, but this time, I want you to listen to every fucking word I say. All right? If you ever use screenshots or any other element from a Zoom hearing in any goddamn court case, I will have my lawyer strike your fucking channel and I will report you to the DC courts because what you are doing is against the fucking law. I know you're a moron, but you need to read up on the regulations regarding court cases in the District of Columbia and in other jurisdictions as well. You are not permitted to share any element, whether audio, visual, or otherwise. Screenshots, nothing from a fucking Zoom hearing. It's just like you're sitting in court and you can't whip out your cell phone and start taking photographs of people in the courtroom. It is illegal. You do that shit one more time, and I promise you that I will take action against you. And if you think I'm fucking joking, look at what happened with Ethan Ralph. He streamed one of Rekieta's hearings on his channel, and he had a 50-state warrant put out for his arrest. Do not fuck with me, Colby. Do not fuck with me. I've had enough. And your dumb airhead act, you can explain it to the DC courts if they ever give you a ring and ask you what the fuck it is that you're doing. Illegal. It's illegal. And you do not want to try me, Colby. Because that is open and fucking shut, okay? Okay, and then when else? Yeah. Yeah, Colby is a big victim blamer. She is. She can lie about that as much as she wants. But I vividly recall her going on stream and blaming us for the swatting attempt on our store. And SWAT was the term that the judge used. All right, that's not my term. That is what the judge said about what happened. And now what you have done by trying to appease these assholes in that community, it's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Yeah, see? You're a liar, Colby. People heard you say it. Okay. All right. All right. See, don't rewrite history, bitch. Do not do it. Do not do it. You need to stop fucking playing with me. And if I may be really petty and mean-spirited for a second, yeah, she thinks everything is funny. She thinks the fire call is funny. She thinks what's happening to Negs is funny. She thinks that fucking with people's families is funny. She thinks that people sharing pictures of people's underage kids is funny. She thinks that couples having a bad time is funny. Everything is funny to her. Everything is funny to her. Everything is fucking funny. You know what's funny to me, Colby? I'll tell you what's funny to me. What's funny to me is that you were so deluded and so delusional that you really thought that Negs was going to go salivating after a skinny, ratchet-faced, former stripper junkie with a bunch of kids from different baby daddies. You think he needs to go to the internet to find that? That's all of Connersville, okay? He doesn't need to go hunting for some broke bitch with nothing to offer, no education, no job skills, no nothing. There's plenty to choose from in this town, okay? You see, not to toot my own horn or anything, I came into the relationship with no kids, no baby daddies, no drug addiction, no sex worker past, no impediments of any kind, a career, savings, and a brain, and wit, and a personality, and a little bit of meat on my bones. So go fuck yourself. I swear to God, if it were anyone else, your desperation, your pathetic attempts to try and get at me by criticizing my looks and my age and my illness and everything else, and I've been in Negs' life longer than you. I'm glad that everybody finally saw what's actually going on. You have never been in Negs' life. Never. You were some random bitch on the internet. You were a nobody. You meant nothing to anyone in the community, especially him. And the sooner you get that through your head, the more sane you will be. Now, why don't you focus on getting divorced and back the fuck off before I make you back the fuck off? How about that? Because I'm going to keep on coming for you over and over and over and over again. Every single thing that you say, I've got a response for. You're a piece of shit who is no better than the people who are calling your mother. You're no different. Keep your shirt on. Nobody wants to see that. Or maybe, since Yo Mama appeared to be so, overwhelmed by your beauty, why don't you go on Yo Mama's stream? See what his wife has to say about it. I understand Yo Mama is getting dragged a bit. About fucking time. I find it very funny. You see, it always comes to light, doesn't it? And in case anybody cares, all right, since I've got 130 of you here, I might as well say this. I do believe that Amber Lynn and Tommy's breakup is real, and I can totally understand why it happened. I know. When somebody comes into a relationship with a content creator, especially one that has a huge hate audience like Amber Lynn, it's impossible to warn somebody about what is about to happen. It's impossible to tell somebody, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, because these are normal people. All right. These are people who have no experience dealing with internet hate mobs, and they don't understand that it is really true. Your family will be contacted, your job will be contacted, the nursing board will be contacted. People are going to come crawling out of the woodwork to pour into the ears of reaction channels. You are going to get dragged, humiliated, and everything else, you know? And a lot of people just can't deal with it. They can't. And I think that for Tommy, the last straw was finding out that there were people doxing her kid in Discord. Because people are pieces of shit in this community, like Owl. Owl is like that. I don't know if she has a Discord or not, but you get my point. You know, bringing kids into your own little personal battles. And so, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I know, for example, when I came into this relationship with Negs, knowing how controversial he was, knowing all of the shit that had happened, knowing everything, I had already gone through that. You know, I had already had my job contacted. I had already had people, you know, come for me. I had already had a lot of this crap happen behind the scenes, you know. And then when he and I got together, it was 1,000 times worse. However, because I had already gone through it in 2021, when Negs and I were still squabbling, I knew that, you know, I knew what to expect. I got it. So, I mean, honestly, if I had been anyone else, I would have been gone by now because of the extent of the invasions of privacy, the fact that people don't leave you alone, the fact that people try to hack into your social media accounts, the fact that people reach out to your relatives, they try to get into your Facebook, they try to find who your friends are, they try to get in touch with them, they send you friend requests so that they can get into your life and poke around and look at your pictures and do all of that shit. People are fucking psycho. They're crazy. And if you're just like a regular person with a fat fetish or a feeder fetish or whatever, you know, and you don't think that people are going to find out all this stuff about you, they will. And then the way that you handle it, well, that's up to you. But most people can't. Most people can't handle it. Oh, and I'm glad that you brought this up. I was listening to that pathetic video that she uploaded reacting to Tom Harlock and her other videos. So I decided to pop over to the Becky Williams thread on Kiwi Farms. And I had no idea that Becky had gotten into so many car accidents. What is going on with this girl? And every time she needs money, she goes on the internet and like makes an appeal for money. Like, wait a minute. So you're in a relationship. The two of you are working. You can't cover the bills. You do these GoFundMes where you raise thousands of dollars. And I guess that evidence has popped up that one time when she raised like $3,000 to fix her car, it cost her $250 to fix it. Where did the rest of the money go? And this is over and over and over again. Like every time there's a problem, why, Becky, do you not go on your 80,000 subscriber YouTube channel? You don't deserve a single subscriber on that channel, by the way, not one. And upload content and actually make money. We all know that you're incredibly lazy, all right? But why don't you just upload content on that channel? People will watch it, and there are a lot of suckers in the community and a lot of people who hate Amber Lynn so much that they will bankroll you for doing absolutely nothing. Yeah. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Yes. Now, I understand that Becky is uneducated. She's living in a remote, rural part of Kentucky. Okay. The wages are very low. I understand that. But she is sitting on a gold mine. 80,000 subscribers. 80,000. And she's squandering it because she's too depressed or she's too moody or this is a problem or that's a problem and blah, blah, blah. Okay. But if you have the energy to post another fucking GoFundMe or a community tab begging for money for you and whatever roommate, I guess she had a roommate at one time before she got together with this girlfriend. If you have the energy to do that, you can go on camera and create content and at least pretend that you're making an honest living. Exactly this. Yeah. And the way she continues to monetize a relationship that she hasn't been in for 4 years. And what the fuck is wrong with you, Becky? Why aren't you thinking? Why are you giving interviews to Karina Kaboom? Why are you cooperating with Mr. Snowflake? Go on your channel and talk about it. This is why I don't do panels with people. Why would I do a panel with somebody and make money for some other channel when I can come on this channel and monetize it and make money here? Where's the sense in that? You know, it's like the people who go on LolCow Live. You know, Yo Mama bragging about how he has admin rights or something on LolCow Live. Why are you going on that panel to make money for Keemstar? Why are you doing that? I mean, at least the other panelists, from what I understand, the regulars are getting compensated for it. Why would you do it for free? That is so embarrassing. What is wrong with you? I wouldn't brag that, oh, guess what? I have this ability to pop on a live stream anytime I want so I can make money for somebody else. What is, I don't understand. Like, this is like the business genius of the community. Come on now. Absolutely crazy to me. Some of you don't have the sense that God gave a goose, I swear to God. Like when Al said that I was trying to buy her when I donated money so that she could get a transcript of that EPO train wreck that I was involved in. No. It's because I think the transcript was going to cost something like $600. And I donated money, so I ended up getting a transcript for half the price. That is thinking, if I may say so, that is thinking with the Yiddish Kopf, all right? I wasn't going to pay full price for that transcript. So you did me the favor of getting it, and then I got it for what, half price or less? Yiddish Kopf. Look it up. Oh yeah, Yo Mama's a huge liar. A huge liar. And I did not appreciate the way that he came at me sideways when he first popped into the community and was strutting around like a banty rooster on his channel, demanding that I go on his channel to do an interview to answer his questions. Fuck you, dude. Who the fuck are you? You're some nobody gamer. You know? Some guy playing some video game, and I don't even know about video games. You're playing some busted video games with a bunch of incels, and you think that you can talk to me in that fucking tone of voice? No, sir. Absolutely not. Your channel is not 60 Minutes. You go on your channel, you lie about people, you smear people, you listen to your busted chat, you allow what, your mods to do your research for you. You're as bad as the rest of them. You don't have your facts straight. And then you want to make demands of my time? No, sir. Yeah, you opened a business and he has admin rights on another person's channel, on a millionaire's channel. Fucking loser, Yo Mama. Fucking loser. I can't get over it. I can't fucking get over it. The nerve of you. thinking that you're somebody, thinking that you're something. Sucking up to some of the biggest scumbags in the community. Wow, congratulations. What a legacy. Really something to be proud of. Anyway, yeah, Keemstar does suck. Good. Make sure you get the channel name right, all of you. Because last night when Owl went off, we picked up a whole bunch of new subscribers. By all means, Owl, do it. Do it. Now, I'm not going to put your busted, nasty face on my screen because I don't want to have to sage the entire house. All right? But do it. All of you, fucking do it. I'm not going to come here with my hand held out. You know, oh, please, sir, please don't hurt me. Please. Fuck all of you. You're all the same. All of you are scum. All of you are scum. Spreading lies, monetizing lies, getting off on people's bad fortune, getting off on, you know, people going through a bad time, invading people's privacy. Oh, wait, let me do a double so that you all can get a screenshot. That's what I have to say to all of you. Well, Nita, it's good to have you here. Listen, one of the things that I've learned, and it's taken me a long time to figure this out, still pisses me off. It still pisses me off. However, it's taken me a long time to learn this. Because I was watching some videos earlier about some content creators that I can't stand. And the individual was like, I can't understand how this happened. I don't like this one, but I used to like that one. And I don't know if I'm going to be in this chat or that chat or whatever, and blah, 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 because it's really rubbing me the wrong way. Sometimes it takes people a long time, months, maybe even years, to figure out that the content creator that they have been watching for years is a piece of shit, dishonest, a coward, somebody who bends the knee, somebody who lies to make money, somebody who invades people's privacy, somebody who spreads lies, somebody who exploits other people's kids, whatever. It takes a while. I may want to do what again? Hang on. I'm going to run this crawl because I have no shame. Anyway, yeah. And sometimes you learn your lesson after certain people come for you. And you realize the pieces of shit that you're dealing with and how horrible their audiences are. And honestly, one last thing about Owl. Anybody who looks to that woman and says that they're a moral compass, that tells me a lot more about you than it does about Owl. If you're looking to that lying, scheming bitch who gets off on people's suffering as a moral compass, who exploits mentally ill people on her channel to make money, then that tells me everything that I need to know about you. Yeah, correct. So, all right. I've been going off about Owl for 46 minutes. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. Why don't you stand on business, Owl? You know who does? And so does Negs. And a lot of people don't like it. They don't like hearing the truth. They don't like hearing about themselves. Oh, fucking well. But eventually, But eventually everybody will figure it out, or most of the people will figure it out, except for, you know, Texas One and Principal Todd and the rest of the scumbags that you have in your chat. But people are going to figure it out. You know, normal people who see the way you carry yourself and see the lengths to which you're willing to stoop in order to get money and attention and ass pats. Pathetic. It looks like some people are figuring it out. You did it to yourself. Nobody forced you to go on stream and react to what I said. You could have ignored me. And I'm here reacting to you because I'm here to make fucking money, Al, off of your back for a change. How's that? How do you like them apples? All right. Now that rant is over, everybody sees that you're a fraud and a coward, Al. So congratulations. You did that to yourself. You're a loser. And now we will go ahead and fire up this really good video that Nate the lawyer did about Rekieta, which has been one hell of a story. Somebody commented in my chat yesterday that Rekieta has learned nothing and he's doing nitrous oxide on live streams because it's not picked up in a drug screen. Trust me when I tell you that Rekieta hasn't learned a goddamn thing. Rekieta hired an amazing lawyer to get him out of hot water, and I promise you that Rekieta is going to get himself into trouble again. So let's hear what happened. Let's go. I think okay, here we go. The first part was silent.
Anything. Okay, let me try. There we go. Some people say, there we go. Audio granted. Or we can hear you now. Okay. I wasn't saying anything for a couple of seconds, so I'm hoping everybody's all right. I wasn't saying anything. Feel like audio. I was just showing the document. So let's get into this. Nick Rekieta has pled guilty. Now, I want to put myself on screen for this because I feel vindicated. This is
good for you.
I feel vindicated. I told you guys that these are a whole bunch of other lawyers who will remain nameless. I'm not going to name these lawyers, but they were saying this is big conspiracy. And I told you guys from day one, if they got to the house based on the evidence, Nick was going to plead guilty, throw himself on the sword, and say, don't prosecute my wife and girlfriend. And that's what's going to happen. I said that time and time and time again.
Okay, now, Owl, I want to tell you something, all right? This is how you do legal analysis. Nate the lawyer is, guess what? He's a fucking lawyer, okay? When Nate the lawyer says something, I listen because he's actually gone to, law school and passed the bar. So he is in a position to analyze people's legal cases. You're not. You don't read filings properly. You don't understand anything. And I'm sorry, but Googling things does not make you a legal analyst. All right? So why don't you sit the fuck down and let people who have actually been trained in this field teach you a lesson.
I said it time and time again. I was called dumb. I was called an idiot. Nate's not a lawyer. Oh, yeah, even though Nate was a prosecutor, he was a cop. He doesn't know what he's talking about. My name was dragged through the mud. But I always said, listen, Nick is going to plead guilty. And in exchange, he's going to save the wife and save the girlfriend. And he's not going to get any jail time. I said that time and time and time again. Nick even called me a dummy. Everybody was on my behind. But today is the day that you understand that sometimes I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Good for you, Nate.
You didn't come just to listen to me gloat about being right. But sometimes legal analysis is what it is. Legal analysis. And that's what I do. That's what I do. And, I told you guys, Nick is pleading guilty. So that has happened. Here we go. Petition to enter plea of guilty. This was dropped today after Nick went in the court and said, I'm a bad boy. Now, for those of you who don't know the story, Nicholas Rekieta is a very, very, very good friend of mine. No bones about it. That guy was a friend. I have no bones about it. Nick, I've been on his channel. He's been on this channel. Matter of fact, we have great videos together. Like there's a video that people still send me about when we were doing the whole "This is MAGA country." Most people remember the "This is MAGA country" for Jesse Smollett. So Nick is, I've been on his channel. I've met Nick in person. I met his wife in person. So these are not bad people. But
See, Owl, that's the difference between having a fantasy of a real relationship in real life and actually having a friendship or a relationship in real life. You meet the person, you know them, you meet their family, you have personal knowledge of them, not sitting in a chat thinking that you know all about someone when you've never fucking met them, Owl. You see? That's the difference. Let's go.
He was kind of like he was one of the first like the real law tuber. He blew up doing Rittenhouse. Nick, for those of you who watch the channel, you probably know Nick. I have a lot more people, so you guys might not know Rekieta, but he's got about 400,000 subs, and he blew up. He became like the largest live streamer on YouTube for a time when he was having like 100 or 200,000 people watching his live streams for Rittenhouse. Then the same thing with Johnny Depp. So he was, and Nick is still, no matter what happens, even now, Nick is still, I think, at heart, he's still a really good guy. This is not this though, because I said it in a Nigerian accent. So I was saying this because the Nigerian brothers had beat up Jussie Smollett, and I was making fun of them saying that they had a heavy Nigerian accent because I just watched this short where the guys were beating of the fake Jussie Smollett with a Nigerian accent. So the Nigerian accent was like, this brother is MAGA country. So I was saying it in a real like African. And it just was hilarious. It was hilarious, but it was just hilarious as the damn short. I don't know why I went into that sidetrack, but anyway, quick story. There once was a little pope that did awful coke. I like what you did there. I like it. I like it. Let me read it again. A quick story. There once was a law pope that did unlawful coke, and the Lord behold, he tripled his prick on the toes. Dirty 304. No longer allegedly carry on.
Now, because I am not up on the lingo, I had to look up what a 304 is. Apparently, 304 is code name is like lingo slang for a hoe. Because if you type 304 into like a calculator, if anybody even has one of those, and you turn it upside down, it spells hoe. So you're welcome.
You are. I don't know why I read that. That's horrible, bro. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But anyway, let's get back to the document. So Nick has entered his plea to plead guilty to felony charges as long as they let my wife and girlfriend go. I wonder who would have thought that he would plead guilty? Who would have thought? Remember, there was like this big conspiracy. It was a judge, the police, the prosecutor. Everybody was after Nick because he had some. The warrant was all bad. And, I keep telling you guys, hey, listen, I've written warrants. I'm the matter of fact, the only few people that look to has written a warrant. I'm telling you, a warrant is good. I told you the warrant was good. Other people were saying it wasn't. Found out the warrant is good. Told you he was gonna plead. He had to plead.
Yep.
He plead. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. When you're in the business, but when you're in criminal law, you understand criminal law.
I mean, all of those ridiculous sovereign citizen conspiracy theories that were being spread by lawyers like Barnes were utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that warrant, according to people who actually know what a proper warrant is supposed to look like. Things were in plain sight. Give me a fucking break. Okay. But I'm telling you, this plea that Rekieta cut, and I stand, so that nobody misunderstands what I have to say. I think that his lawyer had to physically sit on him at some point, tell him to shut his goddamn mouth so that he could do his job. And so this plea deal, I am just astonished. I am astonished by what Rekieta's lawyer managed to accomplish. It's incredible considering the unbelievable mountain of evidence against him.
You're in civil law, you understand civil law. I think people need to understand where their lanes are sometimes. Touchdown. The unbreaded thing was pretty cool too. All right, so here it is. State of Minnesota versus Rekieta. Nicholas Robert Rekieta, defendant in the above entitled action, do respectfully represent and state the follow. Now, for those of you who want me to just see the end, I'll go down to the end. In the view of all above facts and consideration, I will enter a plea of guilty. Signed, Nick Rekieta. So that's where we're getting to. He pled guilty. Signed, date. You know, he's guilty. But we're going back up to the top. So I don't want to bury the lead. You guys see it right there. I actually linked it on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, you also see it too. Oh, give it a real. Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much, Julie. Yeah, it just is what it is. It's just. Here we go. Where was I at? Okay, I'm Nick Rekieta, blah blah blah. My full name, Nicholas Robert Rekieta, 43, date of birth is blah blah blah. I had to redact it. That's why it took me a little longer to get here. Last grade, so he's law school graduate. Case is filed. Copy of the indictment. I understand the charges against me are. So now we know. Now we're going to see what he's pleading guilty to. Now I said a guilty plea. They would probably go down to 3rd degree, but he pled to the top count.
Amazing. Top count.
To the top count. Really understand. I have been charged with 2nd degree violation of Minnesota. That's the 25 grams of coke, possession of a firearm, and child endangerment. Like I said, this is what he's charged with. Let's see this may not be what he pleads to, but it seems like that's it. He's represented by this attorney. Do I feel that
Francis Herbert White III, you are amazing. You are exactly who anybody should turn to if they ever get jammed up in the state of Minnesota. What an amazing job you have done. My hat goes off to you.
I've had sufficient. So in other words, this whole section is this is what you've been charged with. This is when it happened. And is your attorney doing all he can to help you out? And he's saying, yeah, all this is yeah, right? And I
seriously doubt it. I don't think so.
Because if you're patient in a mental hospital, there may be another form you need to fill out. So
Rekieta has no criminal record. So the likelihood that he will serve any jail time is probably 0. You know, he's probably going to be on probation for a long time, and he's going to be under supervision. He's going to have to take drug tests and all that crap. Now, whether or not he can stick to the terms of the probation is an open question, because Rekieta is still convinced that he did nothing wrong and that he doesn't have a problem. He's made that pretty clear on his local stream, that he is not a coke addict, that he is not a drunk, that he does not have these issues, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, now it's up to him to uphold the terms of his probation.
He's never say I have been a patient at the bottom. He made a mistake here though. Like I haven't talked with or been treated by a psychiatrist. So we don't know right now. Has he or has he not? Or other person for nervous or mental condition. So yeah. So here it is. So they're making sure. So what you're seeing here, people, is that they're making sure Nick is mentally able to make this claim. So that's what all this is about. I have not been ill recently. I have not recently been taking pills or other medications. that can mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
I do not make the claim that I was drunk or under the influence of drugs or medication, and that I did not know what I was doing at the time of the crime. So that's something too. He's saying, hey, I'm full knowledge, full everything, right? I know it all. Nate, the lawyer, do usually change the charges agreed to for a plea and sentencing. They do change it. Like, say, for instance, I can be charged with 2nd degree. That's a good question. I can be charged with like 2nd degree murder, and then I can plead out to like manslaughter. So that's why they change. And I'm assuming this would change too, because his top charge was 2nd degree. So he may have been pled down to like a 3rd degree to get less time, or maybe to get probation, something like that. But we'll see. We're reading the document together, because I haven't read this yet. I just I went down to the bottom and I was like, oh, and then I skimmed it. So I'm reading it for the first time. So this is just making sure that he's, that he was, he don't make the claim he's acting in self-defense. He wasn't drunk. He don't make the claim that he's been held in jail for so long so they're making sure like, yo, you are pleading guilty because you in fact are guilty. That's essentially what all these questions are getting to. You're pleading guilty because you in fact are guilty. Right. It's not because we're holding you down. Thank you, Raven, for the $19. It's not because of anything else. It's because you are, in fact, guilty. I was represented by an attorney. I had when I had probable cause hearing. So yes, he was, and we saw that. We saw that when he had a probable cause hearing. He made those horrible arguments. They were just bad arguments. But I understand, Nick, is when you're under a gun like that, you make bad arguments because you're nervous, and he's trying to work his case, and it just got bad. But like I kept telling all of you who are interested in this Rekieta thing. There's some of you who probably have never seen this, like, who's this guy? But for those of you who are interested in this Rekieta thing, I told you from the beginning, Nick essentially didn't have a case.
No.
He should have pled immediately.
Yeah,
and the
agreed.
reason why is that the cops went in there with strong probable cause, and when they went in, they found the coke, they found the guns, they found the girlfriend, like they found everything.
Right.
And if you couldn't get the warrant bounced, you are looking at going through a trial where they're going to say guilty on all charges, and your wife is looking at a trial where they're going to say guilty on all charges. So yeah.
Not to mention the enormous legal expense of dragging that out for as long. Honestly, it seems that the reason that Rekieta was not pleading guilty right away or trying to work on a plea deal right away is because he's so fucking stubborn. He's convinced that he didn't do anything wrong when the evidence was there. You know, they had the CPS reports. They had, the guns. They had the guns in proximity to illegal drugs, 25 ounces of cocaine. I mean, and I don't know what kind of, deal was being worked out with prosecutors at that time. I don't know if he even had the opportunity to plead guilty at that time, but I mean, they waited and they got a great deal.
Yeah. Bro is cooked. Yeah. This is it. He's going to be a convicted felon. No doubt. Nick is going to be a convicted felon, right? He's going to be a convicted felon. That's something. How it's going to affect his law license. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. So we'll see. But let's see, because he may have pled, even though it does say he's pleading guilty, he's a felony guilty. He could have, there could be some mechanism that lets them knock it down to a misdemeanor or something like that. But this is not looking good. My attorney has told me, and I understand. So they're making sure now. Okay, so now you're not crazy. You're not under any type of duress. You now, and on top of that, you got an attorney. You got an attorney. So here we go. My attorney had told me that the prosecutor for the case against me has one, physical evidence obtained as a result of a search for seizing evidence. True, right? That's factually true. Evidence in the form of statements, oral or written, that I made to police or others regarding the crime, which he did. Remember, he had to give that interview to the police, so that's also true. Evidence discovered as a result of my statements or as a result of the evidence seized in the search. Identification evidence from lineup of photographic evidence the prosecutor believes indicates I committed one or more other crimes. So this is what him and his lawyer told him, and he understands that I have the right to a pretrial hearing before the judge determines whether or not the evidence the prosecution had could legally be used against me if I went to trial in this case. That if I request this pretrial hearing, I could testify at the hearing if I wanted to, but my testimony could not be used as substantive evidence against me if I went to trial. And that's the pretrial hearing. In other words, they're saying to determine it, you may have to testify, but we're not going to use your own words against you because that would be unfair, right? If the government said, if we're trying to figure if the government has a case, and then we have you testify, and then you can, essentially say I did it, and then they're like, oh, now we have a case because we forced them to prove our case. So it doesn't work that way. The government has to prove its case without you. Nate, you're doing a deep dive into the legalities of the pardons for crimes, and not yet charged for long before taking office. Doing the legally divided pardons for crimes, not yet charged for. Oh yeah. I just matter of fact, that was my last video. Yeah, that's why this confused me a little bit. My last video was on the Biden pardons. Check it out and tell me if it answers your question. Sorry.
Also, I just wanted to make a comment on those Biden pardons. I told Negs a while ago because he was looking at these pardons and he was just shaking his head like, the fuck is this? Not just the sheer number of them, but the people who were being pardoned And he just couldn't understand it. And I told him, I am fully convinced that people were shoving papers in front of him and he was just signing. Because apparently one of the people who was pardoned was a guy who was a very, very dangerous individual in Connecticut. And one of the senators from Connecticut was like, what the fuck is this? You know, and I think that it may have been a petition that was submitted by the ACLU. I don't want to get that wrong, but I suspect that that's what happened. And I think that he just had no idea of what he was doing towards the end. I think that people were like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to get this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And he just signed off on everything. And he had no idea of where he was, what he was doing. It's actually very frightening. It's very frightening when you look at some of the people that he pardoned. It's like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, what was his name? Like Leonard Peltier. Leonard Peltier. Who killed FBI agents, and he's been in jail forever. And it's like, what the, and I know that Peltier had been one of those celebrated criminals that people had been bellyaching about, that he was jailed. He killed FBI agents, and he was pardoned. Like, how the fuck did that happen? Who submitted that petition? And there were a lot of shithead, bad guy, like dangerous people who were pardoned. Like there was this mass pardoning of all these real scumbags. So I think that that's what happened.
Sorry about that, but yeah, but my last video was on the Biden parts. He's only going to come in. Do you think the judge will force him to get a real job at the term of probation? Not letting him streaming as a job. I don't know. But that they'll determine that at the sentencing hearing, whenever sentencing is. But this is just pleading. So it's like, I'm guilty. And then you go to sentencing. Sorry about all the questions, but these are good questions. Even the questions from the chat are good. Let me continue on. All right.
Yeah, and that is a real problem. That is a fucking problem. And I wasn't thrilled about that. I wasn't thrilled to see those scumbags getting pardoned and released. I mean, an argument could have been made in some of their favors, but some of them, these are people who belong in fucking jail. Some of them were genuinely dangerous. People who came to DC who had guns that were stored in Virginia across the river, people who really did want to commit acts of violence. No, I'm not having it. No, that's a problem. Let's continue.
I'm worried about this. He has the right to a pretrial hearing. Wouldn't be used against him. Here we go. That I do not request such pretrial hearings. So
I think that what he was doing in that case, I think, because I don't know, I'm just speculating. I think that the Bidens are fully aware that if preemptive pardons were not granted, that the Republicans were going to drag out the family for years with congressional hearings and special counsels and all of that kind of shit. I think that that's what that was all about. Yeah, exactly. And that he would use the Justice Department to go out and do investigations ad nauseum, ad infinitum. I think that that's what that was all about. It was a political move. It's not really it's not an admission of guilt or that anybody did anything wrong. I think that he was just trying to stop any, potential shit going on, because presidents do this. They come in and they want to get revenge on their enemies, and so they decide to torment people in their circle, that kind of thing. But I don't think that it is an indication that they did anything wrong. Not necessarily. Maybe they did. I have no idea, but that's my guess.
So he's not requesting that hearing. So in other words, it's saying you get a choice to say, Judge, determine if the prosecutor has enough to take me to trial, that this evidence is enough to take me to trial. And the judge, and then you can have that hearing. Nick is saying, I don't want to have that hearing because then he may have to testify. So he said, and then they say, well, listen, even if you testify, I'm not going to use that against you. Nick is saying, I don't want that trial. Specifically, he waives his right to that trial. I do waive his right to that trial. So it's a right in Minnesota to have that trial.
And by the way, I thought it was worth mentioning yet again that it comes as absolutely no surprise to me that the executive order that he signed on birthright citizenship ended up in court by the time the ink was dry on the signature. Birthright citizenship is enshrined in the Constitution. Trump does not have the authority to overturn something that is enshrined in the Constitution. In order to strip the country of birthright citizenship, the Constitution has to be amended. Now, maybe that's a process that they're already starting to work on. But just because Trump declares that birthright citizenship is no longer a thing means absolutely nothing. And that's why that one definitely was going to end up in court. No question about it. Absolutely no question about it. And I'm sure that a number of his other executive orders, if they haven't already landed in court, will end up there eventually. But I mean, the judges that looked at that executive order were like, are you fucking kidding? And maybe they will amend the Constitution. I mean, goddamn, they have a majority in both houses. But amending the Constitution is not that simple. Okay? It's not that simple. It has to go through the state legislatures, and it's a very lengthy process. Maybe they can do it. I don't know. But the point is that that one was dead in the water from the moment that it was signed.
Pretrial hearing, and he's waiving his right to it. So, and I'm assuming this is also part of the plea agreement too, right? If you're pleading guilty, it's like, why are we going to do all this extra stuff when you're pleading guilty? So that's something he gave up. I have been told by my attorney and understand. So in other words, this is other stuff that he's saying. And again, this is making sure he knows all the consequences. He knows everything, that you're pleading guilty to crimes. This is serious. And we want to make sure you understand it fully. You're not drunk. You're not ill. Your lawyer's been telling you exactly what's going on. That's what this is signifying. I have been told by my attorney and understand that if I wish to plead not guilty.
I just wanted to address this. When Obama was president, he deported more people than any president before him. And there were these ICE roundups where American citizens would get, or green card holders would end up getting caught in the net. This is very common. All right. When you do these mass roundups of people, when ICE goes out and they just basically like go into, like, you know, an example, it was a restaurant, I think. And they just rounded up everybody in the kitchen. And they rounded up it was at it was at a 7-Eleven or a bodega or something. And they came in and they arrested everybody who was in there. And one of the guys was an American citizen. He's like, what the fuck am I arrested for? I was born in this country. Go fuck yourself. So whenever you have these mass arrests, people are going to get caught in the net. No question about it. It happens. And it's unfortunate and it sucks. And who the hell wants to go through the whole process of, you know, proving that you're a fucking citizen? I mean, they can look it up, but still, it's a pain in the ass, you know, to get arrested like that.
I'm entitled to a trial by jury on the issue of guilt, and all jurors would have to agree. So that, in other words, this is stuff that Nick obviously knows. If I plead guilty, I will not have a trial. If I plead guilty, I will not have a trial by a jury or by a judge without a jury, that with knowledge of my right to a trial, the issue of guilt. Now I waive my right to a trial. So they make sure, like each one of those rights, they say, we want to make sure you waive your right to a solid. We want to make sure you're waiving away that right. So they're literally saying this is something that it's
freezing in here,
that you're going to waive your right to a trial. And he's going to say yes. I have been told by my attorney, I understand that if I wish to plead not guilty and have a trial, so in other words, they're saying I will be presumed innocent. You're a presumption innocent. You're presumed innocent if you go to trial.
Okay, I'm freezing. I've got to go get a sweater or a hoodie or something. Listen to Nate. I'll be right back.
If I wish to plead not guilty, I have the prosecutors going. So now that's going over. They got to have the witnesses testify. So this is the trial process, right? You get the trial. That's all this is talking about. Then entitled to require any witnesses that are favorable to them and all that stuff. So they're not saying you get a trial, you get all this. So this is the good part. I've been told by my attorney to understand that a person who has convictions or prior convictions can be a longer prison term for this offense, but he doesn't have any prior convictions. So he doesn't have to worry about that. The maximum penalty that the court can impose for this crime, taking into consideration prior convictions, is a punishment of 25 years. So they're saying the court can get you up to 25 years if you plead guilty. This is a little crazy, but now the court's not obvious. It's not going to give 25 years. That'd be ridiculous. But I'm saying that's what you're pleading guilty to. And if it wasn't for those pesky YouTube lawyers, I would have gotten away with it.
I was just thinking, I should really keep a spare hoodie in this room like Mr. Rogers. Remember when Mr. Rogers would get home and he'd put his cardigan on, he'd go to the closet. That's what I need to do. One other little swipe at Colby Owl. From what I understand, she called me like a bottom-feeding drama channel. No, Colby, that's you. You are at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of bottom-feeding drama channels. Absolutely pathetic. Let's continue.
Scooby-Doo. Yes, the Scooby-Doo reference. Show you how old I am. So yeah, so he's looking at 25 years. So Nick is pleading, I did it, and I know you can give it 25 for it. Damn. For felony driving, and then it says sentence imprisonment not less than blank months. For that felony, for the felony driving while impaired, sex offense. They talk about sex. This doesn't apply. Intentionally aiding or inviting, counseling, conspiring other people to commit a crime. So this doesn't apply. So that's why these NAs are here. I'm assuming because these don't apply. I have been told by my attorney and understand. Now this is the plea part about it. This is where he saves his wife in April. So that my attorney discussed this case with one of the prosecuting attorneys, and that my attorney and the prosecuting attorney agreed that if I entered a plea of guilty, the prosecutor will do the following things. So this is the exchange. I'm pleading guilty, Grim, but this is what you do for me.
I mean, Christ, I know you don't like me, but give me some credit. I mean, we come here, we talk about the 14th Amendment, we talk about pardons, we talk about issues, we talk about a lot of stuff. I don't just cover drama on this channel, Owl, in case you didn't notice. And I know that you watch everything that I do and every move that I make. I don't spend my days trying to cater to a bunch of loser A-logs in chat while talking about schizophrenics and mentally ill people and gloating over people's difficulties. But, you might want to take a look in the mirror there.
Plead guilty to the amended charge of drug possession in third degree. So he's still pleading guilty to a felony, but we're going to go down one level, not second degree, but third degree. Statutory stay adjudication pursuant to Minnesota statute 5152.18. I got to look at that statute. Remaining terms of the sentence at court's discretion, and the state drop all other charges. So he's just pleading to the third degree drug possession. The other two charges are gone. So the child endangerment charge and the gun charge is gone. So it's only
amazing.
One charge, and it's written in. State dismisses. That's the case number against Kayla Rekieta and case against April M. Holt. So Nick pleads guilty to third degree. He gets a statutory stay pursuant to blah, blah, blah. Rest of the charges are dropped, and they also have to drop the charge against his wife and girlfriend.
You know what? And Beth pointed out in chat earlier, and I wanted to wait to respond to it. It's amazing how Aaron Imholt is going to get in more trouble. Aaron Imholt is going to get in more trouble than his ex-wife, Kayla Rekieta, his ex-lover, and Nick Rekieta. That must chap Aaron Imholt's ass. Can you imagine being Aaron Imholt sitting, oh, hi, Mike, I am watching Nate the lawyer talking about Nick Rekieta pleading guilty. And getting the deal of the fucking century thanks to his amazing lawyer. Yeah, that must chap Aaron's ass because, Aaron went out on that I'm not guilty tour. I confess that I did these terrible things, but I'm not a bad guy. And Nick is the one who's going to end up getting dragged and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to challenge fucking Ethan Ralph to a fist fight. and I'm going to defend my honor and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the wife gets off scot-free, the ex-wife, I mean. Kayla Rekieta gets off scot-free. Nick Rekieta will never see a day in jail. He's going to be on probation or house arrest, just like somebody mentioned. I think it was Wyatt who said something in chat. And, Aaron is going to end up getting fucked. Absolutely. Yeah, Aaron's problem is that Aaron got so cocky that he decided to share what amounts to revenge porn of Kayla with a guy who was appearing with Gino, husband of Keanu, his former friends, decides to share on stream. He decides to text message Gino with fucking revenge porn nudes of Kayla, gloating and being an asshole. And apparently Kayla called the police and got Aaron jammed up. And Aaron also violated a protective order that his ex-wife had on. That was another thing that Aaron lied about. Oh yeah, my ex-wife and I are on great terms, and she's very understanding, and everything's great, forgetting that he and April had gone on stream multiple times, violating a fucking protective order, which also jammed him up. And, Aaron he bit off more than he could chew, because Aaron is incredibly stupid and unbelievably naive. So, yeah, so that's Aaron Imholt. What an idiot. Another L for the toe.
That's it. That's it. If the court does not approve this agreement, then they go back into it. Any testimony I've given concerning the plea of guilty could not be used against me, because it would be foul for them to come to this agreement and then the judge throws it out and then they have, he pled guilty, so we're going to use it in court. They can't use. So in other words, if this all breaks down, they can't use this in court. So that's it. Exempt for then. That's essentially all she wrote. There's some other stuff here that's just really legalese, and he signs this. My attorney told me, and I understand that if I'm not a citizen, he's going to be deported, which is happening now under Trump. But this is in view of all the above facts and considerations, I wish to enter a plea of guilty. So Nick has entered a plea of guilty on this day, the 24th of January, 2025. So Nick, now in New York, when you enter your plea, you are a convicted felon. You are convicted as of that point. So I'm not sure how Minnesota does it, but yeah, he's pleaded guilty to felony. So 3rd-degree felony, other two are thing, and that's it. So is Nick looking at any jail time? No, I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't think Nick is looking at any jail time. Let me look at the statute, because I'm thinking that's a sentencing statute where he'll be sentenced to. He was looking, they said he can get up to 25 years for what he's pleading guilty to, but that's probably not going to happen. Look at this statute. It's Minnesota statute 1528. I want to see what that is. See if that's the sentencing statute. 152.1 Minnesota statute.
Yeah, he has no criminal record.
Move this over here to share this. So Deal's he's actually getting. You guys may like this. I found something very interesting. Okay, share this instead. So this is 15.28. This is deferral of prosecution of certain first-time drug offenders, which Nick is. Oh, let me make this bigger. Nick is a first-time drug offender.
Right.
So this is discharge and dismissal, deferral of prosecution. A court may defer prosecution as paragraph C. So that was a stay for. They were going to defer prosecution if he pleads guilty or is found guilty. If he's not previously been participating in a diversion program and had not previously been placed in a probation of judgment of guilty, but after probation and has not been convicted of a felony in this chapter, felony, a little contempt of conspiracy. So in other words, Nick, he agrees with all this. He's never done any of this stuff, and he's not
first-time offender.
His first time. So if it's your first time, there's special rules. Court must defer prosecution for any person found guilty of violation in this section, who meets the criteria, which we say Nick does, and has not been convicted of felony offense in the state or federal gross misdemeanor in this section. All right.
I agree with you, Wyatt.
Nick
I think you're
seems
right.
to fit all of this.
Mhm.
So let's look at this subdivision. This I know this is like boring. All right, possession of other crimes. Wow. Oops, gotta go back. Marker 4, subdivision 2. So subdivision 2, right here, possession of the crimes supposed to guilty of controlled substance in the 5th degree. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so it looks like they're making Nick eligible for a diversion plan. And based on this, yeah, so he's getting it looks like he's going to be able to get a diversion program.
Mm-hmm.
And he may even be able to discharge dismissal shall not be deemed a conviction for purposes of disqualification due to law, and maybe even be able to get a dismissal out of this if he does what he needs to do.
There you go.
So that's what this whole thing is saying.
Yeah, I mean, he. I don't know this for a fact. Again, I'm just speculating, but because he did not plead guilty, or because he wasn't found guilty of the gun charges, he can get all this shit expunged eventually. He can get it all expunged if they don't dismiss it out of hand after he completes whatever program they put him through. It could end up in an expungement. You cannot get gun charges expunged. That is something that can't happen. But you can get this kind of shit expunged if you mind your P's and Q's. Now, that's a big if, because Rekieta, as we all know, is very, very stubborn and very arrogant. If he does what he's told, which is not going to be an easy thing, but let's go.
Damn, I might as well read it. In granting release under this section, a court shall, without entering judgment of guilt, and with the consent of the person, defer any further proceedings in place of the person's probation upon such reasonable conditions as it may require for this period. In other words, that's what you got to do. Does not exceed the maximum sentence provided by the violation. In other words, you can't give him 25 years of probation or 26 years for a 25-year sentence. The court may give the person the opportunity to extend to participate in an appropriate program and education regarding the nature of the effects of alcohol and drug abuse stipulated upon. Upon the condition of probation, the court may enter into adjudication of guilt, proceeded as. So in other words, if he follows this, the court may, in its discretion, dismiss the proceedings against the person and discharge the person from probation before the explanation of the matter. So in other words, they're saying they will dismiss the charges if Nick goes through with the diversion.
If.
Sorry, the local has spoken. I know I read a lot. I'm reading through it, but I thought it was interesting enough to read. So yeah. So Nick is pled to 3rd degree, which makes him eligible for this diversion program. He's going to do the diversion program, and after he does this, it looks like they'll consider dismissing the charges. So that's why there was a stay issue. The stay was for this. In other words, you can't just if they let him plead guilty and then sentence him, they wouldn't be able to let him go to the diversion program. So what they're doing is saying, you're pleading guilty. We're going to hold off on sentencing for whenever. You complete the program to our satisfaction. We'll dismiss the charges against you.
Amazing deal.
So
amazing. A really good deal. A really good deal.
He won't have a criminal record.
Right.
Because of this issue. And this is them saying we'd rather help people be, we don't want to penalize someone who's addicted. Addiction is a sickness. So this is them saying we recognize that, and we recognize people can lose control, and we understand. So this is your punishment. As always, great job.
It's amazing because one of the daughters was found with cocaine in her hair. Remember they did the hair test? But she was the only one, which was always very strange because he's got 5 children. And only one of them had a hair test that came back positive for cocaine. And even despite that, I mean, maybe there were questions brought up about the accuracy of the drug test, But even with that, the child endangerment charges were thrown out. This lawyer, I don't know who he is, if he's fucking Clarence Darrow or, Johnny Cochran brought back to life, or what is going on here. But I swear to God, he is probably the best criminal defense attorney in the country.
Name bar license. Well,
hello,
the way
D.
this reads, it seems like his bar license may also have been okay, because you can't seemingly you can't use this in a negative manner until, because he doesn't have a final judgment against him, so he doesn't have this as so he still have to report it, but I don't think this affects his bar license. I think he would still be able to do everything he needs to do.
Hello, my love, my beloved D.
It's still open. So,
and I guess this is as good a time as any for me to encourage people to become members. And we've got the scroll going on at the bottom. Don't be afraid to send a little CashAppy poo if you like the coverage, or become a member or gift memberships. All the information is linked at the top of the chat.
Lady's cooked. Everything's gonna. Oh man! So all right. So yeah,
Wyatt.
Yeah,
Wyatt. I swear to God, this was something that I never thought that he could skate. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. That's why I'm just in awe of the deal that this lawyer cut. I am absolutely fascinated. Fascinated. Oh my God, look, Nightbot put up the Cash App. Now I'm beginning to see, I'm an idiot. I don't know how Nightbot works. I just decided to start Nightbot, and I guess that Nightbot is triggered by voice commands. I did not know this because I'm a moron and I had no clue. So yeah, by all means, consider donating or consider becoming a member. Let's continue. And definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed already.
I think this is the best possible outcome, right? If he does everything he has to do, if he goes back to the Nick that we know he can be, he'll be fine. He won't get anything. And hopefully they'll dismiss this case and call it a day. So, it turned out to be a pretty, and I think it's a pretty decent plea agreement.
It's an incredible plea agreement.
I do. Like, let me know in the chat. Let's really understand here what Nick got. He's pleading to something that can get him up to 25 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says here, right? The maximum penalty the court could impose for this crime is 25 years. So that's there. And if we keep going down, his wife and mistress get off, right? And he pleads to this. He pleads not for the second degree, but the third degree. And if he goes through the diversion program, they dismiss it. I think it's a pretty good deal.
It's a damn good deal.
Yeah, but I think that's what the stay is for. So there's a time frame for sentencing. So I'm thinking that's what the stay is for. The stay is we're going to give you go through the program, and then they usually do check-ins. Okay, he's 4 months in. Is he doing the program? Is he doing? No, he's not. We're going to sentence him and just send him to jail. So that's what they say. So in other words, they're holding the sentencing ahead of him.
I'm wondering what is going to become of this polycule, this arrangement with Kayla and April, because the Kayla, April, Nick thing has brought nothing but grief to all of them. So I'm wondering if that's going to remain intact or what's going on. But again, that's for them to work out, especially now that the women have been cut loose.
So that sentencing, they're going to ask about the program, because he's going to the sentencing this program, and that's what it says here. Statutory stay of adjudication pursuant to 152.18, and that's exactly what this is. 152.18, discharge or dismissal, deferred prosecution of certain first-time drug offenders. Nick is a first-time drug offender. This is for Nick. Nick cannot get in trouble or put everything in jeopardy. Other charges like identity theft and stalking that would affect this. That would definitely affect this if that was to come to pass. But as of right now, he's a first-time drug offender, and they're saying, okay, we're going to work with you. I'm assuming that they would have gotten the same thing for him and for his wife and his girlfriend. They would have probably been available for this too. But by him taking the charge and saying, "Hey, I'll just do it as long as you do it with them," then I think they say it's a victory. He's got a great deal. Not many judges do that. Well, yeah. He's got a really good deal. He's got a really good deal based on what we're reading. But yeah. And I'm actually happy about that. I'm happy he got a good deal and they worked out a really good deal for themselves. Because the case is against both his wife. Right?
I want to thank the very generous CashApp people that have been donating. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support of the channel, for your support of us. I can't thank you enough. Let's continue.
Being dropped. I think that had to be very important to. It had to be very important to him. So yeah. Now Nick, he's gonna be all right.
Oh yeah.
It just kind of sucks that he had to go through all this because now you have the body cam footage going to come out because everybody's going to want to see the body cam footage and all that. But oof. Well, that is the show for tonight.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Okay, let me take Nick down because there have been attempts made to get a hold of that body cam footage, and my understanding is that Rekieta has been blocking them, or something's been going on. There's a reason that body cam footage has not been released. But now that the case is over, I'm guessing that it'll be easier to get a hold of the body cam footage. And even though Rekieta may be doing a victory lap for right now, if that body cam footage comes out, it is going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal, because we're going to see the state of the house. We're going to see what they found in the bedroom. We're going to see a lot of stuff. And I don't think that anybody's going to be super surprised by the body cam footage based on what we've heard so far. But then again, hearing about it and seeing it are always two separate things. Because again, Josh Moon from Kiwi Farms has been trying to get his hands on it for months. So anyway, well, guys, I really appreciate you all being here today. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the view. Again, don't forget to sub on your way out. And I am going to get out of this room because I'm shivering in here. So I will see all of you guys the next time. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next live stream. Thanks, guys.